It's live.
Okay. All right, get out of that right now. All right, here we go. We got 30 seconds.
Okay, want to say good afternoon, Montreal. Go ahead on and tag and share. Let's get everybody in today. It's going to be an amazing conversation right here. That's right here over one of the hottest talk shows in the Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. That's right. Hallelujah 95.3 is the Greg James Community Show. Let's get everybody in. Let's get everybody in. Let's get everybody in.
This is our 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
Want to say good afternoon and once again, welcome. That's right. Welcome to what I want to declare one of the most interesting, informative, and inspirational talk shows on the radio right here. Hallelujah 95.3 FM. Want to say good afternoon to my co-host who was on her way but had an emergency with one of the children. And you know how that is. We got to take care of the children. And I want to give a big shout out to the conscious chick, Christy Henry, putting together an amazing show. Believe it or not, I was just a pinch hitter in this particular series, but here I am now. I'm up at bat, and we're excited about our guests that are here. They're no strangers to our community. They're no strangers to the Greg James Community Show. Before we dive into the show today, hey, we got a few hot topics brewing around the city, and you know how I do it. I always take a moment to give you about 60 seconds of what's hot, what's really hot in the kitchen. Certainly, the noise is being made aware about what's happening at City Hall. As a matter of fact, City Commission meeting takes place today. And for those of you who are trying to figure out should you go, I think you ought to make your presence known. Just be there. It's a topic. Oh my God. I mean, we're going to have to talk about it at another day, but it's hot. It's hot. 30 minutes for public hearings, opportunity for those who want to speak. They said they're limited to 30 minutes. So if that's 33 minutes per person, that means 10 people will get a chance to speak. Or if they limit it to 1 minute, that means 30 people. Or, okay, you do the math. But however, that's the topic of the day. I got a different opinion about a whole lot. I think it's a real bold move, but I also think it's a sad move. But we'll talk about that at another time. That's just one of the things that's happening. Over at FAMU, basketball is well on the way. Oh my God. The stands, people are parading to the gymnasium, man. So, hey, we're going to talk about that once we get Coach Charlie Ward on the broadcast. And the president, hey, they said, hey, with 5 months left, big bonuses in store. And she's doing some amazing things over at FAMU. Students all across the city and the county are marching over in Gadsden County now at the high school. The group of students are protesting, just finished doing it at Leon. So there is an awareness. There is a real concern in our communities concerning ICE and concerning what's happening in our neighborhood. So, hey, that's 60 seconds of some hot topics. We're going to dive more into it. But right now, we're going to dive into what's happening in the studio as we talk. It's Black History Month, and joining us in the studio is none other than the man himself. He is definitely a voice that has a whole lot of bass when he speaks, and he's definitely one who stands on business. And he's not here today as a school board member, but he's here today serving in the capacity of his role with Minority Business, right?
Yes, sir.
That's Minority Business.
Minority Women in Small Business.
That's right, Mr. Darrell Jones. How are you, sir?
I am, in the words of the late Reverend
Oh,
Dr. Matthew
my
Carter, Reverend James, I am deliciously proud to join you on your broadcast today. And thank you for giving us this most impactful and insightful platform where we can talk about how we're doing our part in our local community to help minority and women-owned businesses to tune up and to do better and to build capacity through this fantastic genius idea of my dear friend and classmate Vaughn Wilson from 5 years ago.
Wow. Hey, listen, so we're going to dive more into that. Those of you who are thinking about a business, those of you who got a business that look like it hasn't moved, it's at a standstill, get your paper, get your pen, because we're going to get some helpful hints from none other than Mr. Vaughn Wilson. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
How you doing, Greg? Good to be here, and thank you for having us today.
Hey, well, listen, man, I'm excited about you all being here because I think we're in a critical time in our culture, in our history, especially when we talk about small minority businesses. As a matter of fact, Darren, I want to ask you this, man, because I think it's so important. What would you say to the person who's thinking about it, who has reservations about it, and they're not getting the kind of support that they need to go forward with that vision of opening up that small business in such a time like this?
Let me tell you, Reverend, this conversation is well timed because what Vaughn has done in the founding of the Black Business Expo and the creation of, quite frankly, of the Office of Economic Vitality is to let the business community know that Tallahassee is resource rich. But the thing is making the connection between business owners and the resources. What you'll discover through our conversation is that Vaughn brings everybody into one space. So wherever you are, whether you are a seasoned business, a burgeoning business, or a newpreneur, or somebody who's just trying to find out information, everything that you will need to start or to strengthen and fortify your business is a one-stop shop at the Black Business Expo Tallahassee.
Wow. And it could be happening no better time than doing a Black History Month.
That's right.
It's been what, 5 years now?
Yes,
Five.
the last Saturday on Black History Month. That's not an accident.
Not an accident. It's a divine moment. So for those of you who are listening, I want you to make sure you make plans, because what you're going to hear today is going to inspire you, because I want to really talk to Vaughn a little bit about where he was when it looked like the business had no air in it. And it was because, it was like, if I was related to the Bible, I'll say it's like Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. Can this business live? And you looked up and said, Lord, I don't know. With COVID here and with everything that's going on, it's in your hands. That's where you were.
I was, as I like to say, I was sitting on my hands. Business plan through 2020, events planned and booked throughout the year, and then COVID came and every single event came off of the calendar. So there was a dark time where I sat there with trying to grapple with, first off, what is this pandemic going on? How do I keep the family safe? But then also, how do I keep paying the bills? Fortunately for me, the guy next to me called me from Office of Economic Vitality and said, register with us and become eligible for a grant.
Wait, I got to stop you there, because somebody needs to hear the fact that when you're sitting on your hands and you're asking yourself questions, but God really knows that, God, if you don't do this, it cannot be done. Out of nowhere, a phone call comes. Yeah. You weren't looking for it.
It was a heavenly voice, though. I can promise you that. but the other side of it is that we as Black people are really taught that we don't qualify for things and not to go after things that aren't ours. As it's a generational curse. And so when he first called, I said yes, but I actually had no intention of really doing it because I didn't understand what it was. I'm in a pandemic. I wasn't trying to learn anything new. I'm just trying to survive and worry about what's going on in my household. So finally he called me back. He said, am I going to have to visit you, or are you going to come down here and register? So I knew that he was serious. I went and registered, easy process, sat down with Shanae Wilkes in the Office of Economic Vitality. And before I knew it, I was registered. 2 weeks later, I was granted a $1,400 or $1,500 grant from the Office of Economic Vitality from a pool of money they had set aside for small businesses. And so often our Black businesses don't apply because we don't think we qualify.
But not only that, $1,400 to somebody, they would say, "Oh, what is that?"
During the pandemic,
when it was zero,
Okay.
when there was zero coming in, literally, that was a gold mine.
Absolutely.
But it also opened my mind. And the next thing I know, I get an email from Big Bend Minority Chamber say they have a partnership and apply for those grants. And so I got another $500 grant. I immediately invested in my business.
That's right.
To transform what I was doing live to the hybrid method. And from there, those two encounters, along with guidance, because one thing OEV did, they sent emails weekly about different ways to navigate this pandemic. None of us knew, but they were giving good, solid advice on how to navigate it. And those things in the darkness were actually the light.
Wow. And Darryl, I want to ask you this, and I mean, I'm sure you're not feeling disrespect when I said Darryl rather than Mr. Jones, but
he called you Greg. I say Reverend Jones. Let's just be very.
But let's just drop all the titles.
So let me say this, because I mean, you've been in this space for a while now, and 9 years, and I guess there have been so many moments that probably have made you feel like this is my God-given assignment.
Oh yes.
And I'm sure to see now the call and to see the investment, what does that do for your work in the community and for small businesses?
Well, and it's not lost on me, right? And this is a reoccurring theme that you and I talk about every time we're together. When you place responsibilities in the hands of faithful people, it stops being work and it becomes ministry.
Absolutely.
Right? And Vaughn and I have been friends since back in 19, right? When I was a college freshman. But it was those connections in the community that I reached out to folks and I said, this is available to you. Take advantage of it. Because, say, for example, when he got his loan, we were still isolated. Commission and county, and this provides a segue. Commission meetings, county meetings, blueprint meetings, citizen advisory were all done virtually. We had not come back into spaces, right? So after he certified, one of his first clients was us.
Wow.
Because we hired him to then manage all of our meetings so that we could remain virtual, right? And that our people didn't have to come from where they were, but we were able to create platforms where government could still do its job of meeting the needs of the people. And he was an important part of that. And then out of that, subsequently would come even more exposure for his business because he became an expert in being able to host virtual meetings at a time where that niche had not already been created or established, but out of necessity came invention and innovation, and he's capitalized on that.
And because he has capitalized, that has now opened a segue for so many more small businesses that have no path to their direction to participate in something, man, that is amazing on the 28th of February.
Now, let me say this too, right? I think it's important because he's too modest. He ain't gonna tell it to you. Out of that came, when he started working with us, the next thing you knew, he was then working with the funeral home. Funerals that were outside,
Graveside.
Right, graveside. Right?
Wow.
He brought people who were afraid to leave their homes. He brought that to them. Then there were other government meetings and instruction. Candidates, important conversations were convened on his platform. When I needed to address my people as a school board member, I called Vaughn. We'd have 20 people virtually as panelists talking about some best practices to make certain that our families knew about food insecurity, about how the Chromebooks were going to be distributed. He made all of that possible. And again, when you put talents and skills in the hands of faithful people, I was able to really communicate with people who were out of the loop about what we were doing in our schools where they could find food. It becomes ministry in the hands of faithful people.
Wow. For those of you who are listening to the broadcast, hey, listen, it's Black History Month. We're talking Black business. We're talking with Mr. Darrell Jones of the Office of Economic Vitality and Mr. Ron Wilson of Mega Ace. But the key for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, especially those of you who have a business idea, or perhaps you've gotten your idea stuck, or you have allowed the noise of what you can't do stop you from moving forward. The young man in front of me, Vaughn Wilson, is a example. He is a role model. He is a forerunner of what happens when that business looked like there's no life in it, and all of a sudden a call comes, and now he's moving forward. And because of that, his way of giving back is happening on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, on February 28th and 27th, we're having the Black Business Expo. It's two parts. The 27th is a product we came up with last year. It's called Direct Connect. We have general contractors, some of the biggest names. I mean, people building the police station and building FAMU.
Culpeper,
NIMS redoing the cafeteria. We have some of the biggest contractors in town sit down face to face with smaller vendors, flooring people, AC people, and we sit in dialogue, constructive dialogue of how these vendors can provide services for these general contractors. Let me tell you how important it is for me, how I look at Ajax Construction differently, how I look at Childers, how I look at Culpeper, how I look at Ram Construction, how I look at Rippey Construction. They don't have to do this, but they pay for the right to do it. They are engaged. We've had some of these construction companies that have pulled and had side events with some of these vendors, particularly Childers. They're actively and aggressively, and I think we have vendors certified with Childers now.
Wow.
So that's Direct Connect. For the other businesses,
Can we talk about Direct Connect for a minute? Because with so much that's going on in our city, so much that's going on in our county with building, I think this is a perfect moment for those vendors who are small minority business vendors who are operating in the construction arena. It's an opportunity because some of them would never get a chance to meet with an Ajax or.
let me take it further.
Take it further.
This year, Rod McQueen with Leon County Schools will be there making a presentation about the events that they have coming up. And Blueprint and the governmental agency is going to be there. They're literally our keynote speaker on Direct Connect. We don't have a lot of dialogue because we want the networking to happen. But Blueprint, so you're talking about Blueprint, Leon County Schools, and 5 of the biggest and active general contractors in the Big Bend area. If you have a business that's in construction, and that event on Friday night is free.
And where's that?
It's going to be at the Jim Moran Institute, but they have to sign up in advance because we have to cap it. If you're online and or listening to us and you're interested, please go to BBETally.com. All the information to register for Direct Connect and Black Business Expo are there. You can see videos, you can see photos of what has happened before, write-ups, so you get all of the information, BBETally.com.
So is this the second year doing this?
Yes.
The second year
we outgrew in 1 year. Our pilot program last year was an Indigo standing room. You can't even say it was standing room only because there was no room. So we are going to Jim Moran Institute is sponsoring and hosting us this year.
So what is critically important about this, Reverend James, is that the lion's share of the procurements that we manage through the Office of Economic Vitality, who's been a presenting sponsor from the very beginning, are construction projects, right? And because this MWSBE program is a part of the Office of Economic Vitality, We realize most clearly and specifically that minority-owned, women-owned, and local small businesses are the biggest drivers for job creation in our local economy. So here now, what Vaughn has done is created a space where the large contractors and the subcontractors come together and meet. Now, the reality is this: people do business with people that they know.
Absolutely.
And so here rather than going to a directory and seeing a name, a company whose firm you are not familiar with, you don't know what their capacity, here now you get a chance to exchange in real time, swap a business card and follow up later. Then more importantly, and this is what is critical, and this is what I love about living in Tallahassee, beyond all of the rhetoric that we hear nationwide against DEI, against programs like ours, this community, to include the business community, is doubling down and saying, I still want to do business with you. Not out of a sense of obligation, but because I know that you do good work. I want to work with you because I know that you're going to create jobs in my local community. I know that working with you makes my community better. And here now I have opportunity to get to know you, find out more about your business, and give you not a handout, but give you a hand up. And that's critically important. And that's what he's been able to do in this space. And OEV and its commitment to creating more jobs knows that we got to help our businesses build capacity. And this is a way that we can get it done.
Wow. Hey, for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, if you got a cousin, a brother, uncle, if you got an auntie that's in business and it has anything to do with the construction area, construction field, you need to tell them that they need to be at Direct Connect on the 27th. And that website again, Vaughn, is what?
bbetally.com. bbetally.com.
bbetally.com. They need to go to that website, need to register, because when you don't connect, then you are disconnected.
No.
And I think you said it best. People do business with people they know.
That's right.
So if I don't know you and I don't know what you do, don't get mad if I'm still doing business with someone I know.
Exactly.
Now tell them the story about the people that got with Childers, the electrician.
We have an electrician and a flooring who's
That's
been
right.
certified with Childers, and they're actively working with Childers Construction. After last
From last year.
last year was that group, the flooring company's first time coming to Black Business Expo, and they did. Let me tell you, but they weren't playing. When they came in, their display was on the end, and when you saw it, it looked like something professional. So even the professional development of our other vendors before, and you see this company come in 1 year, and theirs looks different. They've taken time. They've gotten advice from somewhere on how to put a display, and it was an amazing flooring. There were carpet swabs and tile swabs and all of that on the end cap. Well, guess what? Every construction general contractor that came through there was like, who is that? You know, so it's an opportunity. And if I can say that you often have programs like this and you don't talk about the downside. The downside is Daryl had to talk me off of the ledge the first year. Like, why is this building not full? And Daryl said it very simply: you can't teach hungry. We can put the plate full, but if you can't teach a person to go there and pick up their fork and eat it, it gets frustrating. I'm like, what don't they see about the ability to help their own businesses? And yet they'll see these big structures going up, and you could have possibly provided some resources to that, to something from your business. Or more importantly, like Rippy Construction had a fraternity or sorority house. So that's a smaller job, but they were really actively looking for people to help them with those smaller projects. If you get your business and go do a good job on that one, and you continue to build capacity, you know, the next time they have something like NIM's cafeteria or something a little larger, then your participation goes in. You're dependable and are able to work with it. So that's the only downside is 5 years later, we still have businesses that will not go through any length to help themselves.
But hold on. we're not worried about them.
Right.
Because like you said, we can't teach hungry. But let me tell you what has been our success. From the year 1 to year 5, we've seen more than a 200% increase in attendance, right? People are getting the message, right? So you look here, it is through the foolishness, right, of preaching, right, that people are saying, well, so is the same thing for businesses, right? We are continuing to share this narrative with our community. Think about this. You got a police station that may come in at more than $150 million. Based upon the business community that we have, if we set a goal at 23%, that means $35 million will go to minority and women-owned businesses, right? But they've got to have the capacity and the bandwidth and the financing to do the work. And that's why this expo is so important, because it gives OEV a chance to say, hey, we got Jim Moran Institute. We got the FAMU Small Business Development Center. We've got FAMU Federal Credit Union, who has a microloan program that was funded by Leon County out of the pandemic dollars, and they'll give you up to $50,000. And this is another thing that we're able to talk about at the Black Business Expo. If you are awarded a project, right, say you get flooring for NIMS, right, you can go with that project to the bank, and they will finance the project. And then when you get your money, you pay the bank back. Right? And if you do it within a certain amount of time, you may not even pay any interest. And here it's those types of tools and resources that OEV wants to make certain that our community is aware of. And the Black Business Expo, this partnership and collaboration is so well timed, because we're now able to make certain that people know about it. And what it also does, Reverend, it helps us to translate a headline. Everybody sees the headlines about these $10 million at NIMS and $40 million at Fairview, or $20 million for the senior center and $10 million for Star Metro. Well, if we're using minority women-owned businesses at those projects, and we're providing them the financing, guess what? We're putting our people to work. We also, and this will be I just want to make this last point. Businesses are also incentivized to use interns and apprentices at Lively, Tallahassee State College, and at our local high schools. So they can be earning their certification hours with these same firms that are awarded these municipal. Our taxpayer dollars are now being used to train another generation of young people to create more jobs. That's the important part of the work that we do. And that work is made most clear when they come to the Black Business Expo. We sew it all together.
Wow. And as I was listening to you, I was definitely thinking about the fact that this is probably, and I know OEV, I know you all do a lot of community events, and I know you do a lot of engagement, but this is probably one of the most powerful outreach events that touches our community in a place whereby those small minority businesses can show up and get the information that they need.
Let me answer that.
It's a signature event.
It's a partnership. We had to navigate this. Starting when I came with an idea in November and said I wanted to do it in the next February, and after Daryl got up off of the floor and finished hearing my proposal, he saw that I was serious and that I thought it out. And at the time it was Christina Paredes. They greenlit it quickly. They're like, well, let's go with it without any track record of anything like this being done. They saw the vision. Yeah,
you saw it.
But again, you do business with people you have a relationship with. He had already served us extremely well by being the person who was a videographer and the producer for all of our community-based engagements during the pandemic.
Right.
So here now, when we've come back out of the pandemic,
and he's got a vision to do something to empower the community.
Continue to invest in someone who's already done a great job.
And the Black Business Expo had one purpose in my mind, because I had been helped. Exactly. Because I've been helped by somebody. I needed to pay it forward to somebody else. And I needed to try to help people break out of the mold that a lot of us, quite frankly, were taught traditionally through our families, not to take anything from anybody, that we wouldn't qualify for certain things, to try to break people out of that mold. And we've done a great job so far. I wish it was even better. But the Black Business Expo is for any business that is looking to improve. This year, I have to mention the Capital City Chamber of Commerce and the Big Bend Minority Chambers for their unwavering support from day one. They have been there, they have guided, they have had input. That's kind of unheard of for an event that has literally Mega Ace and OEV on the top of the ticket. But it's literally a Tallahassee team effort to pull this off. And I just want anybody who's listening, who knows somebody with a business. And one of the proudest moments at the Black Business Expo was a few years ago. I had gone to the barbershop and there was a guy, they called him Joe the Plumber. They said, well, Joe does plumbing. And Joe came. I gave him a complimentary, and Joe came. And when I looked and saw him sitting over there talking to two commissioners at length about what he was doing and where he was trying to go, that's what we want. We want people to think outside of their normal box, to be exposed to people that they don't normally have exposure to. So this year, along with OEV, who's always a great presenter and a great ambassador for the Black Business Expo, we're going to have Jabari Allen, because we have to understand AI.
Yes.
You cannot. And let me tell you, Jabari is so amazing. I was streaming an event at OEV where Jabari presented, and I learned so much about artificial intelligence just from his presentation. So these are free seminars that OEV does that I get involved in and see, but it's just going over people's head. And you have to understand AI. You can't run from it. It's here.
Yeah.
You either learn how to capitalize off of it or get run over by it, one or the other.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I was just talking to a young man today out in Texas. They tell me that Teslas are being made in less than 24 hours through artificial intelligence.
I'm sure.
So we've got to learn it. And I want to say that for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, February 27th and 28th. February 27th is Direct Connect. It's designed for small businesses that are in the area of construction, whether it's plumbing, whether it's welding, whether it's brick masonry, whether it's painting, whatever clean up. You want to go to the website, you want to register, you want to be a part of that. February 28th, is that open to the public?
That is it. There is a fee for that one because we're offering grants. There is and the fee is small. Those entry starts at $30 for a business to be fully registered to come invest in yourself. But we give away grants.
So what about the average person who just want to walk in the door and see what's going on?
Then they just need to contact us through the website. And we have done that. Somebody say, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. And they contact us and we give them a badge to come on in.
Wow.
We don't want to be prohibitive. But one thing I learned early on is that when people have skin in the game, they take it more seriously. So it's not out of reach, but it just makes sure that you take seriously. If you spend $30, you're gonna make sure you get your $30
that you're engaged.
Yes,
You're asking questions.
yes.
You're connecting with people.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we didn't have any price on that, it'd be a whole bunch of people registered, but they wouldn't show up.
No, and you've been, Reverend James. You know,
Yeah.
The moon is packed.
Absolutely.
Look at it, as my granddad said, they packed in there like dirty clothes, right? But those are the things that I think, and I can't praise this guy enough, right? You remember at the very start of our conversation when he got his micro grants from us, right? He invested in himself. He didn't take the money to pay a bill. He didn't go out. He invested in equipment to strengthen and fortify his business to create greater options whereby he could use that money to make more money, right? Again, this is one of the things that we talk about at the Black Business Expo, having skin in the game, right? And working as your best self. What I like to think is so critically important about what he has founded is that he keeps the window open and the ladder down, right? It's not enough that he's been successful. The fact that he has a heart to make certain that other people are equally successful That's critically important. And we're happy to partner with his vision such that we can also make certain that we're creating more jobs in this local economy, because it is critically important. We enjoy unemployment rate of around 4%, right?
Mhm.
The reality is the unemployment rate is different for our community.
Absolutely.
But that's why our program is so critically important, because who's most likely to hire us? Us.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Who's most likely to look beyond your past, right, and still see potential and future in you?
Absolutely.
Us.
Right.
Right? Who's going to say, if you come work for me, I'm going to send you, go to Lively and get some courses? Us. All people will, but we realize that we must be the masters of our own fate and the captains of our souls, right? And that applies to us in business as well, and minority and women and local businesses, right? Small, because we're MWSBE, small business, local people want to invest in their neighbors. And here now we use our taxpayer dollars that we all contribute to these projects, right? We make it manifest through here now through job creation with local vendors by making sure we optimize that opportunity and engagement for them.
And to expound on a point Daryl talked about is people do business with people they know. It's just interesting that you find out a lot of things about yourself when you're embarking on this and your friends. I just want to point out last year a call I got was just heartwarming. It was Darius and Tanya Baker call, and they said, we just registered. We just want to let you know we'll be out of town and we can't make it, but we want to support the vision. What does that say? That's the biggest compliment somebody can give you. That's the absolute biggest. It doesn't get any bigger than that. But as Daryl said, when another thing in teaching business is how to do and not to get the loans and go pay bills or go on trips or this or that. By investing in myself and continuing to grow and to learn, I called Daryl from Arizona. I was there streaming on the campus of Arizona State for the University of Florida. The archaeology and ecology and all of those people were having a convention. By doing those events for OEV and Blueprint and MWSBE, the word reached the University of Florida. And as they were trying to figure out how to do their events, I started doing events for them. So they had a national conference and they weren't sure on their technology. So they said, we need to fly your equipment and you and your staff out to Arizona on the campus of Arizona State University.
You kidding?
To do their work. So I walk in, they flew me out for a site visit. I walk in, and every person in there has a doctor's degree, but every person has a notepad asking me, what do I need to make their conference work? It's almost how it was a moment where I had to call Daryl and say, thank you again. And I don't even know if in that short conversation, I explained to him all of what I was saying thank you for. But if OEV had not reached out, if I had not accepted what OEV presented and continued to follow the path that made good common business sense, which was advised along the way, they don't just drop you off. OEV is there to call. I've had presentations that I've had to make, business presentations, and I sent it to OEV. Take a look at this presentation. What do you see that's missing? So OEV does a lot. And we have resources here in Tallahassee that are available. The whole purpose of starting the Black Business Expo was to get our Black people to utilize the resources that are right there in this community.
Wow. I mean, I'm listening to you, and as I'm listening, I'm envisioning something that I feel like is so important for our community. And I think we said this earlier, and I think Darren made it clear, people do business with people who they know. But I think we need to begin to say now, as we move forward, especially in the culture that we're in and the times that we're in, people of color must start doing business with people of color for the survival to last. Because you said it best. We hire people who look like us. And then at the same time, it helps us to create what we need for better communities and a stronger economy within our neighborhoods. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a powerful conversation, and I want to encourage all of you to please, ma'am, please, sir. If you got any small business ideas, if you got questions about your small business, contact them over at the office of OEV and ask for Mr. Darrell Jones, and he's going to point you in the right direction. And don't forget, now, the last Friday and Saturday of this month, you want to make plans to be a part of the Black Business Expo. It's happening. You want to make plans to be supportive. And for those of you who got families and friends who are in the construction area, I mean, they need to be at the Direct Connect. It's one thing to see an Ajax truck. It's another thing to see a Ram truck. It's another thing to see Childers truck. But it's better to meet the people who are sitting with the golden pen making the rules. Yes, sir, Darrell.
Reverend, this is what I want to make most clear. And I really, again, have to thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Yes.
If you register and you attend, I want the people to know who they'll have opportunity to engage with. They'll have an opportunity to engage with the procurement directors for the city and the county and Blueprint.
Okay. Let me stop. Talk about that. Talk about how important that engagement is for minority businesses.
That is critically important for you to register as a vendor. If I've got Greg James Painting Service, when you register as a vendor with the city, the county, or Blueprint, the beauty is whenever there's a painting project, your name is on the list.
Okay, that's how important it is.
That's why it's so critically important. So your name is on the list. That means they will find you as a registered vendor. Then you register with.
Can I stop you and say it like I really want to say it?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't register, and you say, well, why we ain't getting no work? That means you haven't registered.
Right.
But if you register and you're not getting, then you can come see me and we'll make some noise about it.
And we'll make some noise about it.
Okay.
And that's not
And
just
let's add the Leon County Sheriff's.
at Leon County Sheriff's Office
yes,
and the Leon County
registered.
School Board.
Really?
Yes. Are all registered. And they think about this, the redo that we're doing at the Leon County Sheriff at the jail, right? They're looking for minority and women-owned businesses and local businesses to do the work. They don't have to bring people from outside of our community. We have all the talent we need right here. So when you come to the Black Business Expo, you'll also meet the major contractors, those big ticket items that you read about in the headlines, the Senior Center, Star Metro. You see all this public construction going on. Well, guess what? They're looking for local firms to do the work. I don't want to see trucks with 904 area codes on it, or 305 or 954 or 727. We've got the businesses right here. But here, when you come to the Black Business Expo, you'll get to meet Ram Construction. Do you know if you partner with Ram Construction and you're awarded a contract with them, do you know they will finance the job out of their resources, pay your people, pay for your supplies, and when the job is done and Ram gets paid, they pay you and they give you and they take out what they've advanced you. So that means with a business like Ram, here now you can work on multiple projects at the same time, because what's the biggest barrier to working on multiple projects?
No
financing.
Yeah, no capital.
The lack of capital.
Yes,
so
sir.
when you've got businesses like Ram who will be there, who will do that, that means that's a game changer.
That's a game changer.
Absolutely. That's a game
Absolutely.
changer. And so as these local major firms are awarded these contracts, they want, in spite of what the headlines may say, in spite of what federal or state mandates may require, we see diversity and equity and inclusion as a local community value. We want to work with our neighbors, and our businesses, by virtue of their presence, and we are already tipping the scales at passing last year's level of involvement, means that we see that as a community value. But we can't teach hungry. So if you come to the Moon on Saturday morning starting at 12 noon,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a buffet for you. Look here, come on in this room. The table
And
is
spread.
spread.
Wow.
Come on in this room. There's joy. There's not only is there joy, Reverend, there's opportunity, and that's what we want to make our people aware of.
But I think the greatest applaud is to your office, Dara, and to you, Vaughn, simply because you challenge those businesses to come to the table.
Mhm.
Whereas if you never would have reached out to them to say, hey, come to the table, I'm going to put people at the table that you need to meet, then where would we be? We wouldn't have the opportunities. The young man who did the flooring display would not have never taken the time to invest to make sure that his presentation caught the eyes of general contractors. So when people are bringing people to the table for you, then it's our responsibility to get at the other end so that we can make our communities better and we can empower others. Somebody said, thank you for the Black Business Expo, make plans to be there. And it's an amazing event. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus says that this is amazing. So it's happening on the 27th. It's Direct Connect. I love that.
Now, let me also add, we're going to have FAMU Federal Credit Union there. They're one of our micro lenders. We're going to have the FAMU Small Business Development Center
So
there.
wait, I got to ask you. So Family Credit Union, they would give loans to business. What about individuals with bad credit?
But again, then what we have is a Smart Steps loan program.
Wow.
Now let me tell you why they do so good, do so well. Excuse me, I got my degree in English. His daddy was my journalism professor. The reason the program does so well, the Family Smart Steps loan program, is that first of all, they qualify you through financial literacy. A great number of our businesses are not managing their businesses well. You making your money, but they help you with the financial literacy so that you don't default on the loan. They help you to manage debt. That is critically important for any business. We're also going to have FAMU Small Business Development Center there that will help you to increase your bonding capacity so that you can apply and qualify for bigger loans. Then partners like Jim Moran, Domi Station will be there offering, signing people up for their executive programs so that you can grow your business. You know what smart growth looks like, how you manage that, how you qualify, how you invest in, how you leverage your capital, how you leverage your equipment to be able to do bigger and better jobs. You and I, we all are old enough to remember what the Atlanta airport meant to creating a brand new middle class in Atlanta under Mayor Maynard Jackson.
Absolutely.
We had the same opportunity to do that same type of work here in our local community off of our public projects. And we want to make certain that our firms are aware. Now, everybody who comes to the Black Business Expo is not necessarily in construction or construction trades, but professional services, architects,
everybody's there.
Retailers are there. Everybody's there sharing their experiences and are networking because we realize good networking starts with us.
Even decorators, people who decorate and do events, they've gotten business from other people there because they brought a balloon display or whatever, and that sort of thing, and they get hired. It's no matter what your business in, you need to network with other businesses, and be in the circle because people are in there looking for businesses that can do different things.
Wow, this is amazing, and normally when people are talking, I'm always seeing beyond what they're saying. And there, I saw something while you were talking, especially because I was asking the question about somebody had put down about the credit for the business, and I think here is an opportunity for just imagine 300 Black businesses making FAMU Credit Union their lending institution.
Right.
What does that do? It helps other businesses now to get what they need. I see a young man who is joining us in the conversation. He's a small business owner. And one of the things that he's been saying, man, I've got to find a lending institution that can help facilitate me helping my business get to the next level. Banks are not doing that because there's so much requirement that is needed.
Let me tell you what is so critically important. And again, when you get around to preaching, when the Bible says all things work together for good for those who love and are called according to his purposes, it's not lost on me that our director is Keith Bowers.
Right.
Keith Bowers has had a storied career as the regional director of the Famous Small Business Development Center for more than a decade. So here now with his transition to our office these last 3 or 4 years, it creates a brand new type of synergy for us as an office, because the businesses that he has helped to create through the Family Small Business Development Center, there's an implied cachet and integrity born of what we do. Because OEV is associated with it, Keith Bowers is associated with it, Vaughn Wilson is associated with it, that means you know that we're coming together to do what is in the best interest of businesses, because we want you to succeed. When you got a leader like Keith who sees this work as an extension of his own personal ministry, community uplift is born by job creation, helping people to earn a job that pays a living wage.
Yes.
And how do you do that? By helping business owners right here in our community, right, to grow and strengthen and build capacity to be able to do more work, expand the number of projects for which they qualify, and so that they can keep the people who are on their payrolls working, be able to give them raises and bonuses so that they can take care of their families, send their children to school, and achieve the American dream. And it is all born out of the work that we do in OEV, and having a leader who's able to make that translation, be able to see what is worthwhile in these types of collaborations and relationships, and then being able to understand the landscape and our ecosystem and how all of it comes together and works together, right, to the benefit of our business community is absolutely priceless.
And then I think another thing that is really, really priceless is the fact that your office is making sure that contracts that are throughout the city, throughout the county, throughout the sheriff, throughout the school board, minority participation is there.
Right.
Yes.
You don't have to stand alone.
And it's not lost, right? Again, all things working together for good, that you got a school board member, right, who also believes in the power of economic development. So we make that translation. I want to see, I go to every graduation. You know how many children whose hand I shake and I ask them what's next and they shrug their shoulders? It's an indictment against the school district that if somebody comes to our program, K through 12, and walks across that stage and is not walking either to go to college or into a career, right? And so how do we make that happen? Through creating jobs and making certain that the workforce is qualified and prepared to meet the opportunities. Think about this. Why does it take you so long to get your car fixed when you have an accident? Because there are not enough young people going into the industry to do the detail, do the body work, right? So the jobs are out there. We need welders, we need plumbers, we need electricians. And then not only do I need them to go to school, then I want them to come back and see me so I can give you the money to start your business and be an entrepreneur. So don't just go to HVAC and get your HVAC certification, do a few years with one of these larger firms, and then come back and see Mr. Darrell, and I'll give you a microloan with the Smart Steps Loan Pro, and now you become an employer.
Yeah.
That's the type of translation that happens when you have people like Keith Bowers in leadership, and you're partnering with people like that.
Yep. And I just want to remind everyone, as the website is BBETally, BBETALLY.com.
BBETally.com.
Yes. I have some deliveries I got to go finish, so Mr. Jones is going to finish up our last few minutes. And thank you so much, Darrell. Thank you so much, Greg. Christique, we're praying for you. We know.
Thank you so much, man, for the work that you're doing. And
but you both do events. So leading up to event, there are so many small details that have to be taken care of. Deliveries are coming in all over the place. But for me, I've got crews working other events, and I just need to go check in on one to make sure that we're satisfying for the customer.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and certainly I thank you for taking the opportunity that they gave you to now invest in others.
Try to help.
Vaughn Wilson, Mega Ace. It's happening February 27th and 28th. Direct Connect is at the J. Moran Institute. That's for small minority businesses that have something to do with construction. You want to make plans to be there. And then on the 28th, it's at the Moon, beginning at 12 noon. There'll be a plethora of vendors, so don't you feel that.
And resources.
I mean, the key thing is you'll get a chance to meet the people who can give you the insight and the information that you need to take your business to the next level. Now, if there was ever a proud moment in the work that you've been doing at OEV? I know Vaughn is a real proud moment, but is there another one that you would just like to highlight?
Well,
And I'm sure there are plenty.
There are plenty. I will point to TC Bakery. We have now it's presently under federal review, but we also certify businesses to be ACDB, which are airport concessionaires, DBE firms, right? That means that TC Bakery is not only in our stores, she's also in the airport.
Wow.
And so here now, through that certification she was able to earn through us, that qualifies her to be in airports across the country. So here now she can pack up boxes, send them to airports across the country where they are selling her stuff that was baked right here in Crawfordville, Florida.
Wow.
Because she is a certified ACDBE. When I think of people like Princess Owsley with Elite Business Strategies, right? One of the largest firms in the country in emergency management, right? Again, certified through our office, and we're helping them to identify potential resources where they can grow and expand their businesses. It's all about creating jobs and creating jobs that pay livable wages. So here now we move from rhetoric to actual work, right? Sometimes these conversations can be full of sound and fury signifying nothing. The important role that OEV plays is that we make certain that we help our businesses to build capacity so that they can grow and create more jobs in our local economy. And our work, most specifically through the MWSBE program, is to make certain that minority and women-owned businesses enjoy the benefit of taxpayer dollars on projects that we manage, and that is critically important for their expansion and their good health in our local economy.
So, what does an individual that's a business owner have to do to become a part of OEV?
All they've got to do is give us a call or come to our website, hit the drop down, and just follow the instructions. We provide technical assistance. You need some more information, you need some help filling out your application, we are there. We want you to register because we see these projects are coming down the pipe. Think about this. We've read most recently that we've already secured the bonding for nearly $500 million in projects over the next 18 months.
And that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work and a lot of opportunity. But again, Reverend, I can't teach hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I need you to certify, and then after you certify, take the classes that we'll offer, we'll provide coursework on how you prepare the best competitive bid. We have resources like CareerSource, who will pay your employees. If CareerSource will pay your employees for up to 400 hours, here now you can back out labor out of your bid. Think about how more competitive your bid will be if you're not covering the labor costs because CareerSource is.
So
those types of resources are game changers.
So there's a person who has an existing business but need some employees.
Mm-hmm.
CareerSource can help them.
CareerSource can help them, and then you make application that CareerSource pay their salary rather than you. And because the reason we make this investment, why? Because if we pay their salary, CareerSource pays their salary for up to 10 months potentially, or 10 weeks potentially, right? You're now better equipped to secure more jobs, and they can become a permanent hire for you.
Wow. I gotta talk to Christy. We've got to get CareerSource on. We gotta know more about it.
We've got a great new leader. I can't think of her last name, Kiantha, but we've got a brand new leader who has decades of experience in this work. You've got to bring her on.
Yeah.
Bring her by herself. She's going to wow you. She's got great vision. She's doing some house cleaning, righting the ship, right? But she has a heart for people. And again, I know her well enough to know that she sees this also as an extension of herself and his ministry. That's what we do for the least of these, we do for him. And that's when you look at your work in that manner, it inspires you in ways that you can't potentially describe.
Wow. Listen, someone just asked for the address again. The address is at the Tallahassee Moon.
That's right. We're at the Moon on Saturday starting at noon, and then we're at the Jim Moran Institute on Friday night at 6. But you must register. bbetally.com. BlackBusinessExpo.com. Make sure that you're registered because we're going to make sure that we're already ready for you with your name badges and everything else. And we want to create an environment where the businesses, the prime contractors, the project managers from the city, the county, and Blueprint will be present. They've got a ton of stuff they want to share with you about what we're going to be doing with your taxpayer dollars to make certain that our local businesses are doing well and are hiring our neighbors and putting them to work.
Wow. And that's so important in times like these. So
Yes.
to have an agency as OEV and to have a leader as Keith Bowers and to have a voice like Darrell Jones and so many more that's a part of that amazing team fighting to ensure that minorities find their place in the puzzle of the work environment in our city, in our county, is so valuable. So this has been an amazing show. Certainly, I want to thank you, Mr. Darrell Jones, for having your voice here to do what you do, and that's make sure that you're speaking on behalf of the people in our communities. And big shout out to Vaughn Wilson, who had to leave, Mega Ace, but he has made an investment that has really changed the lives of so many over the last 5 years. And one of the things that I like about him, I don't know whether he'll hear it, but one of the things I like about him, I heard him tell me one day he was in Gretna, and he said, man, you know, I realized that I don't have to do this by myself. And he reached out to other small minority vendors that's in the same field of his, and he gave them an opportunity to be a part of the work. And that's what's important.
Keep the window open.
Keep the window. Absolutely. I mean, if the job costs 100 and you can make 50 and bring in somebody else to make 25, do that
to ensure that it's done
excellently. That's what's important. Hey, it's been an amazing show right here. Certainly want to give a big shout out to the Conscious Chick, praying for her, praying for the health and wellness of her child who she went to pick up from school. And certainly she'll be back next week and for an amazing show. Thank God for all of you. We talking Tallahassee, and Tallahassee is where business is being done in a big way. And we talking today about how minorities can be a part of what's happening in the business arena right here.
I got to give a shout out again to our chambers of commerce. Big Bend Minority Chamber, Capital City Chamber. They are important partners in this work. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. The chambers are making a difference throughout our communities, and they're at the forefront, making their voice heard for the people that they serve. So that's so important. Hey, once again, it's been an amazing show, and we want you to, I'm going to say like Darrell say, keep the window open and the ladder up, because you don't ever ladder down, because you don't ever know what can happen to change your life. Until next week, listen, have an amazing weekend. Don't forget now, mark your calendars, 27, 28. It is the BBE. It's the Black Business Expo. Until then, be blessed. All right, we out of here.